Purpose. My name is Sharon Combs, and this short video, is actually going to be titled New Room, New Rooms. So there's new rooms singular and new rooms. If you know anything about UCDI, which is the company and the network that we run, and it's our organization, you'll know that our motto is push until the ceiling becomes the floor. A lot of people associate push with pray until something happens. I subscribe to biblical principles, so I will never argue about that. But push also has a second meaning. Those of you who've been charting with us, even for the first 6 months of this year, know that if I usually use a word, it's going to have a meaning, but it's also going to have a deeper meaning. So with push, I'm also about protesting the underlying systems and habits, which correlates with the think on purpose. You want to think deliberately. You want to think intentionally. You want to be intentional and directional in your thought life. So think on purpose, not just about your destiny, but about thinking on purpose and using your thoughts to streamline your activities. Thoughts are creative reality. They do have creative power. Whatever you're thinking of, you're going to focus on what you're thinking about. And whatever you're focusing on is kind of what you drift toward. Now, you can either drift toward it aimlessly, or you can be intentional in that. Meaning, if you want to have more balance in your life, in your family life, in your relational lives, in your professional life, if you want more balance in those areas so that one thing is not taking up 60 to 80% of the sphere of your day, of your whole 24 hours, then you can think intentionally and directionally and focus your energies in that way so that you can get that to reflect how you want it to reflect from the inside out. That means externally, your environment, your atmosphere, your life, the things around you will become more congruent and will begin to align with your core beliefs, And so with Think on Purpose, a lot of times what will happen is you'll find out that your core belief that you think you have or that you aspire to have might not really be the core belief that's driving you, which means, if I can make it plain, the fact that your core belief is that I am a consultant that does this, or I am a business owner that does this, or I am a parent that does this, may be an aspirational core belief, which is what you're aspiring to, which is what you're hoping to reach. But your real core belief may be something like, you know what, I don't think I'm good enough, or I don't think, I'll just be happy with this right here. And what that means also is that you have begun to, just hear my heart, you've begun to align with a circumstance versus aligning with a destination and your goal, where you're supposed to be, where you're moving toward. Progressive leadership means you just keep growing one step at a time, which takes us back to new rooms. If you don't know who I am, I've been doing leadership and development for over 15 years. I started out even without knowing I was in leadership and development, but seemed to have influence. And it used to get me in trouble a lot because we would do something and individuals might do it, but I would get the blame because they would say, well, you had the influence and you could have stopped it or not stopped it. And that used to drive me to high heaven, because I was like, we're all individuals. People make their own choices. Why should I be held responsible? But over the years, that was an immature mindset. That was a mindset of a child. Over the years, I've accepted that, and I recognize it as a blessing, and I recognize it as something God has graced me with to help individuals go to the next level. And that is ultimately my why. I love, my hum is to help other individuals find their internal hum. And I say hum because no one can be mad while they're humming. No one can. It's like being very angry and trying to clap. If you're clapping, you can't be angry for long. Those two things are incompatible. One day, just trust it. When you're upset, just begin to start clapping. I guarantee you'll start laughing. That's free, and that's a bonus. So now let me get back into it. So even though I have the 15 years of that and the degree in leadership studies and different programs, certified through Dry Mouth, well, different things like that, more so than anything, I am a person who, because she has bumped her head many times and has faced fears that are external and internal, I have learned to master something that I believe is called transition. I've learned to master transition. It's uncomfortable, but I have learned to lean into a change, lean into what's changing so that I don't get stuck in an area that's in the back. Hear me, manna is great, but manna was never meant to be your lifetime meal. Manna is a meal for such a time as you are transitioning into something that is part of your promise, part of your progression, part of your next step, part of your new room, new rooms. There's a scripture in the Bible that says, in my Father's house are many, some people say mansions. It also says are many rooms. Also, your gift will make room for you. Here's the thing with your gift making room for you. Your gift may make room for you, but if you don't master the transition and master being able to handle and hold the new room, you won't stay there long. It's kind of like when you get a position, but your character is not enough to withstand that position is not going to be sustainable for you. What that means, you get a promotion, but you may lose the promotion because you don't master that new room, the new room. And so today I want to talk to you about transition. We spoke about it last week. I want to speak on it this part from the new room aspect. When I say push until the ceiling becomes the floor, so you push, you're in a room and you push, and you break through the ceiling, you stick your head up through the ceiling and you look around, you're in this new room and it's exciting. It's a new room. It's something new. It's awesome. If you do not continue the process and bring your hands up through that hole and begin to pull yourself up through that hole into that new room, eventually gravity and maybe relations in the other room, the room that you just left, will pretty much pull you back down. So you have to, when you're in transition, lean into that puppy, lean into that thing. Don't let go. Lean into the transition. Lean all the way in. I don't care if you're scared. I don't care if you don't know what's in the new room. I don't care about those things right there. I understand them because I have felt them. I know what it's like. I know what it's like to be afraid. I know what it's like to not know what's in front of you. I know what it's like to feel the anxiety that is associated with uncertainty. But I'm here to tell you, I've bumped my head enough and I've come into new rooms enough to know that in that moment is a deciding factor. So your head is up, you're looking around in the new room, you're seeing all these people who are comfortable in this room. How will they take me? How will they receive me? How will I interact? What does it look like? Do I know the culture? Do I know the mores? Do I know the norms associated with this new room? That's not the question for right then. The only question at that moment is to pull yourself all the way up into the new room. So not just your head is taking a peek. You're called to do more than take a peek in this new room. You're also called to pull yourself up, stand in this new room, test the weight underneath your feet, and then master the new room. Life is full of new rooms and new room. Okay? New rooms and new room. It's like a chicken that's in it's like an eagle that's in a chicken coop, right? We've all heard this story, but again, if you hear me say something, I'm going to flip it. So message right now, if you are an eagle and you're in a chicken coop, it's not about the other chickens. Don't even be mad that you're in the coop, but hear me when I say if you don't get out of that coop, what's going to happen is your body is going to begin to conform to the shape of the room that you're in, right? Right. So eagles have nice wing spreads. If you can see me, you see I'm flying. This is what you're called to do as an eagle. And eagles are also graced when it's a storm to kind of soar above the storm. And then they can look down and see things. City on the hill is a whole different perspective from when you're in the valley. So as an eagle, instead of being mad or focusing or resenting the chickens around you in the chicken coop, it's not about them. It's about you. And it's about you coming into agreement and becoming into an alignment of who God has called you to be as the eagle that you are. So flap your wings, get out of the coop, quit trying to fit and mimic and look like things that you're not called to look like. Quit trying to follow something and be something that you were never called to be. If you stay in that chicken coop, what's going to happen is your wings that are designed to have a wingspan and move air and create like a whoosh type sound, you're created to whoosh. If you stay in that chicken coop, your whoosh will get smaller and smaller because your wings will begin to conform to the size of the chicken coop. So even when you want to spread them out, you won't be able to because they will have grown accustomed to the chicken coop and they will have conformed to the parameters and the dimensions of that chicken coop. Hear me when I say, don't do that. Don't stay in the chicken coop. Get used to coming into new room and new rooms. Your gift will make room for you. It will. It will. Get out of your head. Your gift will make room for you. Quit comparing yourself to others. Learn yourself. Learn what your strengths are. Learn what your weaknesses are. Learn what you like and what you don't like. Learn how resilient you really are. You know, there was a time in my life when I was in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I'm the youngest of 7 kids, and I'm just dialoguing with you guys now. And I remember, like, there was a time when I was like, oh my gosh, and everything I thought was going to be for me, the car, the house, older siblings, yeah, I could just go stay here and do this and do this. All of those things were removed. Like, everything was removed, and I had nothing. And I was sitting on the couch of a friend of my sister's, not even my own friend. And I'm just sitting there. I don't have the lights on or anything. It's in the dark, and I have hot tears. My throat's burning. I'm quiet. I'm not even like, I'm just a quiet cry. And you know those quiet cries when you've done all you know to do and it does not work. And I remember crying out to the Lord, and I was like, God, I know you're not surprised about this. You had to know this was going to happen. You know, I might be surprised, but you had to know. And in that moment, the response that God gave me wasn't even an answer. It was a question. It was like, but did you do all you could do? And I was like, I did everything I know to do. Like, I've done it. I'm doing everything I know to do. And again, the question, did you do everything you could do? I just want to submit to you, if you're in this Think on Purpose group, again, the goal of this is to make you think. I am here. Part of my purpose in life is to make individuals think. Think on purpose, deliberately and intentionally. It doesn't matter that I did everything I knew to do. I hadn't done everything I could do. What I could do was learn something new. What I could do was use the mental faculties that my Father in heaven has given me. When he says the works were created beforehand, that means it's already within my design, some kind of way to figure these things out, to master these things, to walk in the grace that's been dispensed to me. So even though I'd done all I knew to do, I hadn't done all I could do. I could learn. I could learn something new. I could read. Hey, in this year, 2017, what? Google. There's nothing. You can Google how to do anything. So I could learn how to do something new, which would help me be accustomed to this new room. So I didn't get stuck with just my head pushing until the ceiling becomes the floor. Stay with me. I'm pushing until the ceiling becomes the floor. So I push, and now my head is in the new room. And I can either say, oh, I don't know how to dress like that. I don't know how to do that type of waltz. Where I'm from, we dance hip hop style. I don't know how to do that dance. So I could look around and say what I don't know how to do, or I could finish that transition and stick my arms where my head is, reach in, put my arms on the floor of that new room and begin to push myself up, and then begin to stand in the new room, in the new space that the Lord is bringing me into. Many of us pray, Father, broaden my horizons. Father, give me favor with this. Give me favor with that when you're trying to walk and grow into something. And then that favor is given, and we don't master that transition. It's like when you repent from something, for those of you biblically based, it's like when you repent from something, but you don't complete the change. You know, you say, I repent, but you don't finish the change. Finish the change. Pull yourself all the way up into this new rooms that God is bringing you into. You know, we praise God. Hey, it's a new season. What does that mean for you? Does that mean, hey, it's just a new season? Or does it mean that you only look around in the new season and you never pull yourself up into the new room? Pull yourself up into the new room. If you're watching this video right now, it's June. We're 6 months into this thing. This is time when a lot of people begin to check out. Some people actually begin to be like, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and do it. It may have taken you 6 months. You know what? Who cares? You're doing it, and that's what matters. So here it is. It's June. We're looking at what worked, what did not work over the first 6 months. We're seeing things, and I'm going to tell you this. If you're not pulling yourself all the way up, you're going to start seeing other people pulling them. Okay, it ain't about them. I'm going to stay right here on you. I don't want you to look back at this time again next year, and you have taken another lap, and you're not any closer to the goal because you did not lean in into your transition. Lean in. Yes, it's a new season. Lean in. Yes, it's a new room, new people, maybe a little bit intimidating. Lean in. Yes, it's a new system, maybe some new mores, maybe a new language, maybe a new style of dress. Lean in. Master these new rooms. You have what it takes. You have the mental faculties. You have members in your body that can do what needs to be done. You have a wingspan that is accustomed, that is made and designed for the new rooms. Life is full of transitions. I guarantee you not anybody watching or anybody not watching has had a life that does not have a transition in it. Transition, losing a parent, that is a transition. Losing a job, that is a transition. Gaining a spouse, that is a transition. Gaining a degree, that is a transition. Life is full of transition. Moving from one area to another, that is a transition. That's a transition. And if you don't lean in and master the art of transition, learning new things in your business, that's a transition. Having a business that's not just based in one state, but maybe another state, those are all transitions. Oh, the dynamics of a relationship switching to someone who used to coach you, and now you're getting to a part where you can impart information into them. Those are all transition. And if you don't master the art of leaning into transitions, then you may continue to associate the feelings of transitions with the feelings of failure or feelings of just fear and not actually handle it right. I hope that you bring language and articulate what transition actually is so that it doesn't hold you back. Lean into the new rooms, lean into the new room, the new space that is being created, the new space that is being created. I often tease as a lady that I work with, she owns like a multi-million-dollar company, you know, just doing the thing, commercial real estate, medical, she's a dynamic businesswoman. And years ago we were talking, and she was doing something that she used to do. And it was very irritating for her. You know, it just didn't seem as easy as it did when she had done it years before. And I remember saying, it's because you got on some tight pajamas. You know, I said, you know, we all used to wear those little onesie pajamas when we were kids, maybe around 5 years old. You know, the onesies that you wear with the feet that are covered up. It's a one-piece pajama set. It's like, yay. Sometimes it's in the shape of an animal. Sometimes you're a fish, but it's a onesie set. But if you're still wearing that onesie at age 12, 15, 17, 23, they begin to get tight. They begin to pinch out circulation and cut in certain areas. So I was like, you know, because you got on those tight pajamas, take off them tight pajamas and you'll be able to move freely. Get out the chicken coop and you'll be able to move freely. Stay with me now. Stay with me now. If I'm using language, I guarantee you it's something that I'm saying in front of it and behind it. So, you know, when you're coming in this, don't take another lap around the mountain. Transition, yeah, it may be uncomfortable. Lean in. Lean in. You are more than conquerors. You're more than enough. You have more than enough intelligence. You can articulate. You can do this. Hence the name of our company, UCDI. That's the benefit of being in Think on Purpose. When you're in Think on Purpose in the second week, this is what we talk about. We talk about leaning in because excitement wears off. And then there's the muscle strength that you have to have, the upper body strength to pull yourself into that new room. And so we talk about that and we come alongside of you. So the things that may seem intimidating, we make it plain for you. Hey, this isn't intimidating. This is just this. Hold your form, lean in. Are there any questions that we have as far as the new room or new rooms? New room or new rooms? All right, I know with live, right here on live, I'm doing it live as well. And I'm also doing it on the Zoom area. And it does look like we have something in Zoom. So just give me a second. I'm gonna take about 10 seconds. If there are any comments or questions on live, please put them in there. Guys, it's June. Ladies, it's June. And there are changes and transitions coming. Even in my own life, there are changes and transitions coming. One of the things, last week I mentioned it, even for all the videos that have been here for the group, a lot of those videos over the first 6 months are about to be removed. So I hope you had time to look over them and go over the notes. There's some real good quality content that can help shift you from one area to the next area. Real solid content, quality content that's just been available to you. And I want to say this as well. I do believe and subscribe to the law of diminishing intent. The longer you wait to do something, the higher the likelihood is that you won't do it. And so I'm always trying to get people to move. If no one in your circle is doing what you're called to do, step out of your comfort zone, because that's where life happens. You know what's outside your comfort zone? Fear, anxiety, the unknown, uncertainty. You know what else is outside of your comfort zone? Promise, passion, purpose, funds, prosperity. There are so many things outside of your comfort zone that we say we want, but we're not willing to stick anything other than our head outside of the chicken coop. Well, I break that now. I'm here to tell you, come on, you can do it. Get yourself up, get yourself motivated. You know, even if you know what? We have some awesome jump drives with digital teachings on them. There are things that are here for you. You know, go to the store. Get one of the jump drives. Listen to these things over and over. Let them get into your psyche. Let them get into your spirit. Let them get into you so that you can begin to train your thoughts to think on purpose, not just purpose and destiny. And you know what begins to happen? Let me say this too. When you train your thoughts to think on purpose, it's a dynamic resource. Then you begin to help people think on purpose. You begin to be able to impart these same thoughts, concepts, and principles into your children, into your cousins, into your nieces, into your nephews, into the people who report to you at work, into your colleagues. You begin to be able to help other people level up as well. And so, all right, I don't see any questions. I do see comments. Thank you, Lisa. Hey, Shirley, how are you doing? Tani, hey, how you doing? Lean in. Tani, lean into your transitions. Lean into your transitions. You can't lean in and come back out. It's not hopscotch. It's not double dutch. You lean all the way in. If you don't lean all the way in, it's a high likelihood that we're in the same place this time next year. So hold your form. Don't worry about your fear. Gather up your little skirts or your pants for those who subscribe to Biblical Principles. Pull in Elijah on them. Gather your stuff up. Lean in. Lean all the way in. Stop hanging back. Actually, too, so here we are. I'm going to stand up for just a second. Yes, that's good. Dr. Martin says, just have the boldness to step out on your strengths. Have the boldness to step out on your strengths. And I do see a question. Ladies and gentlemen on the live, I'm going to go over here to the question. Dr. Martin, I see you. I'm going to unmute you so you can ask your question. Hopefully the people on the live will be able to hear. If they can't, what I'm going to do is take a moment and repeat your question so that those that are listening live will know what we're addressing. And I'll do my best to repeat your answer. I'll do my best to just make sure everything you're saying is heard by the individuals on live. Again, just to let you know, the videos are going to come down. So, hey, go through them one more time. Get the notes in. It's worth it. A lot of times we invest on ourselves and we look so good. We have the purse, the bag, our hair is laid to the side, but we don't invest on ourselves, like in ourselves. I want you to invest in yourself, not on yourself. If you invest in yourself, then the on yourselves will be taken care of. So that's it with that. I'll let you know more about what's going to happen with the Think on Purpose group and how we're going to shift it just a little bit. We'll still do these contents. You may not get them twice a week. You may only get them once a week. But right now I'm going to go over here and see what Dr. Martin has to say because she has a raised hand. One moment. Oh my gosh.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Okay, hi. Boy, I'm telling you, this one is so good. It's so phenomenal. I really liked the way you, the illustration of coming up in that room. That was great. And I really, it's not really a question, but it's a statement. And the statement is the Think on Purpose group has such transformational power in it that I want everyone to get on board and to really push, because this is a place where it's what we call a safe learning environment, that you can learn, you can talk, you can stretch out your arms, you can take that jump off that tree and still have a safe place to come if something happens. So really and truly, my encouragement today is to seriously step off of the ledge and jump, because it's really a safe place. And if we never get into that room to see, like you said, we won't know what we have access to. And so I really want to just encourage. Go on.
Give me 1 second, Dr. Martin. Can someone on the live let me know if you guys can hear Dr. Martin, if you ladies can hear what Dr. Martin is saying? She's mentioning that it's a safe place. If you could let me know if you can hear it or if it's muddled, you know, if I need to repeat the words, the language that she's saying. Okay, they can hear you. Sorry about that, Dr. Martin. Go ahead. They can hear you. So this is a safe
and just an encouragement to take that jump. So many times you don't want to take it because of fear, and you already hit this, and the chatter in the head, that sometimes you've got to shut that down and literally just take a step. And one other thing that I thought that would be really good, you talked about language, and the language that we're hearing is meant to build us cognitively and to change us. So I agree 100% you guys get online, get the information off of the tapes, write down the new language so you can function in this area, so you can walk easy into the change. So just really a great message. And I want to also say that this has even, and I'm Dr. Martin, and I know who I am, and I know my credentials, but this group has given me the push that I needed to. And so when even professional people that are doing their thing need something like this. So you all go and garner the information, go through it, write it down, and make your step. And I want you to take an accountable step and let Coach Shay know what you're doing and when you're going to do it. Because once you write that down and you say, I'm going to do it, and you commit to it, then you will do it. So that's just what I had to say. I thought it was a great session today. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Martin. Thank you, Lisa, for letting me know that you all could hear her on the live. Yes, it's very, again, my heart is to see people step into the next level, and then into the next level, and then into the next level. So often we look at life as a destination and don't realize that it's a journey. It's a journey of discovery. And one of the things Dr. Martin said, when you pull yourself up, push until the ceiling becomes the floor. You have your head in, you're looking around. Go ahead, stick your hands through there again, and then push your hands flat on that floor where your head is and begin to pull yourself all the way up. This whole 6 months, we've been developing our mental upper body strength so that we can pull ourselves up, so that you can pull yourself up. Pull yourself fully up into the new room, because if you only just have your head in, eventually gravity is going to set in and it's going to pull you back into something comfortable. And I also want to submit this to you. This is a different look on it. I know right now we're like, yes, I'm going to do it. Let's go. This is where I am. Transition is inevitable, people. It's inevitable. So often we wait till something happens and we're behind on the transition. Transition is inevitable. Lean into transition. Guys, my heart, even right now, I can feel the warmth in my heart because this is so critical. Please don't miss this. Transition is inevitable. And sometimes it's not even fear of what's in the new room that keeps us there, but it's a comfort where we have become accustomed to the wilderness and we're fine. We're like, I'm okay eating manna. It's manna here every day. I'm okay eating manna. You are not designed to eternally eat manna. Manna is a transition food. It's a transition food. And if you're okay eating manna, that means you're okay in the wilderness and you're okay not obtaining the promise. And that is some boo. That is some boo and some foolishness. We are called to obtain the promise, not just to enter into our promised land, but to dominate in our promised land. The land has been given to us. The ice in that land are either to serve us or to get to step in. Your thoughts are designed to serve you. So don't get comfortable with manna. Oh, my heart right now. Don't get comfortable with manna. If you're comfortable with manna, cry out to the Lord and say, God, I don't want to be comfortable with manna. Help me not be comfortable with manna, because I don't want to identify only with the promised land. Help me understand manna is something that proves that you can provide when I don't see where provision is going to come from. But understand manna is a transition food. It's a food of the wilderness. It's a transition food. And if all you want in your life is manna, then that is the, hallelujah, that is the monster that you fight right there. That's about thinking on purpose, identifying the real culprit, identifying the real culprit. Maybe you're not afraid of the new room at all. Maybe you are just so accustomed to manna. Maybe there may be some emotional or spiritual or mental laziness that is keeping us in the same place, because we're like, well, it's okay. I'm all right here. I can make it. Just, it just puts me again in the mind of some slaves who are chained together. And it's just like, ho, hum, ho, hum. And you never lift up your head. Lift up your eyes, O ye gates. You know what I'm saying? Lift up your head. Lift up your head. Spread your wings. You are designed for the promise, not only just to obtain the promise, but to actually have an active influence on the lands that God is bringing you into, the new rooms. New room, new rooms. So I just want to encourage you in that. When you're thinking on purpose, sometimes you'll find out that you've been fighting the wrong enemy. You'll find out that you've been looking at trying to open a lock. Maybe you're trying to use a key to open a combination lock. Or maybe you're looking for a combination to a key lock. But that's what happens. Maybe it's not that you're afraid of the promise at all. Maybe you've just gotten too accustomed to manna in the wilderness, and you would rather sit there and wait for some manna to fall every single day instead of using the faculties and the mental faculties and the emotional, relational, spiritual, physical faculties that the Lord has blessed and endowed you with. He's giving you everything you need to obtain these promises. Maybe you haven't developed those things, and so you would rather just sit back and let manna come every day. And if that's the case, let that be the monster that you deal with. Let that be the area that you give attention to. Again, I know, hey, I love you guys, real people. Felt the pain, bumped my head many times. Those of you who know my story, and will probably bump my head many more times, but I have mastered transition, and I know how to lean in. Whether it's uncomfortable or not, I'm going to lean in. I'm going to lean all the way in, and I encourage you guys to lean all the way in too. So if there are no further questions, hey, Brenda, how are you doing? Yes, love you so much. Proud of you, Lisa. Just proud of you guys so much. Even in this group, there are many of us in this group, and that's what's going to happen in life. There'll be many people, and some will peek in the room, and some will decide to look back down into the room that they came from. It's not for us to judge them, it's for us to love them, but it's for you to decide, no, I'm okay with the new rooms. And as God brings me into new rooms and enlarges my territory and broadens my horizon and gives me an ability to understand things, concepts, principles associated with different levels and different rooms, I'm going to lean in. I'm going to lean into the new room and into the new rooms. So again, this is what we do in Think on Purpose. And when you're in Think on Purpose, even the online program, the online coaching, the one-on-one coaching that we do, we actually tackle these things. So the 6 months from now, you'll be like, man, I can't believe I'm doing things that I'm doing. There are people who started listening 6 months ago and they're doing things, and if you'd have told them 6 months ago, they'd be like, no, I can't even believe I would do that, or I'm gonna, but they hadn't moved on it, and they're moving on it now. If you want to be one of those individuals that are moving, get with me. This group is about to shift. Some things are going to shift in the group. The videos are going to come down. We're going to go from 2 to 1, whether it's going to be on Thursday or Wednesday. I'll take a poll and we'll find out, because the group is still the group. But we're going to move. And so for the next session, for the next half of the year, we'll do a lot more with the one-on-one coaching and the art of mastering your mindset. And so are there any questions? Dr. Martin, I just thank you so much for your feedback. And that's it, guys. It's Monday. Let's crush it this week. Don't be afraid of the new room. Step into the new room. Remember, you're not a chicken, you're an eagle.